We've made it, guys. It's been 10 years. The 10th anniversary of Ninjago is here, and with that, we've got a wave of legacy sets to celebrate. We've got exclusive golden ninja scattered throughout the sets. And oh man, do these sets look pretty darn good. But, as always, I'm going to be ranking them. What is up, guys? Hfmasters here. Today we're going to be ranking the Ninjago 2021 legacy sets. I really love the concept of these new battle sets. A $10 set with one of the original ninja battling a villain from the past. It just sounds really good to me, but seeing the images of the sets, I gotta admit, I'm just not really that into them. I don't really like any of the designs for these exclusive ninja. I do like the new hair pieces for Kai, and I'm really glad they did make Zane's new hair in titanium finally. But then you got freaking Zebra J over here. Like, what is that? Get that thing off the screen. No, I don't want to see that thing anymore. I'd say my favorite of these is probably Cole's, just because I like the minifigures here the best, and I do think that build in there is pretty solid. Zane and Kai's set are kind of interchangeable. I think Zane's is slightly better just because I think it's got a little bit of a better build, but I mean, it could go either way. And then Jay's set, I just don't like that one at all. The build I don't think is that great, and I'm not really huge on the minifigures either. I do appreciate that they remade Rattler here because he is a new figure and we haven't got a Legacy Hypnobride before, but he's just out of place. Like, they always paired Jay with the Fangpire in marketing and in the show, so you would have thought that they would have done a Fangpire in this set, and instead they went with the Hypnobride. In reality, what happened is they just wanted to make a new figure, and Lasha and Rattler were interchangeable. They could just color swap them, so that's what they did. But I don't know, I'm getting too far into this, but they're good sets, they're just not for me. I've seen a lot of varying opinions in the community on this new X1 Ninja Charger, and yeah, personally I'm not huge on it. I do think it's a good set, but I just don't think it's a good X1 Ninja Charger. This feels like a definite downgrade to me. It reminds me more of the Ninja Nightcrawler and the Ninja Tuner car than the actual original set. But comparisons aside, it does have some good things going for it. The actual design I think is good, and it does have some good shaping throughout, and I do feel that the flame circuits actually do add a whole lot to this set. They also did bring back the shooting bike function, which was a key staple of the original set, and they kept that rotating spring-loaded shooter thing up top, but I don't like how obvious they made the mechanisms in this set compared to the original one, which I thought did a much better job integrating them. And I do really like the minifigure selection here, especially that Golden Cole. Once again, this set I do think is pretty good, I just can't get past the original one though. Zane's Titan Mech is the first set, which is no doubt an upgrade. A lot of people have criticized this set for deviating too much from the original, and I can definitely see what they mean, but I also do see a ton of influence from that original design, so it doesn't really bother me that much. The build I think is really solid. It's got two spring-loaded shooters up top, it's got a flippable sword, it has a saw, and most importantly, it's got actual working knees. The Mad Lads, they actually did it. They put working knees in a big mech. Thank you. My only problem that I actually have with this set are really all nitpicky stuff. Like, I'd rather see two swords on this set because the original one had two swords, and then they could just get rid of that saw. I think it also would have been better if they used the black version of the sword instead of the gold one, just because I think it blended in with the color scheme more. But, you know, none of those are real issues. I do have one real problem with this set though, and that is the value here is not quite as good as some of the other sets from this wave. There are no side bills included at all, which is not very good for $60, and you're only getting 4 minifigures, and 3 of them are exclusive, but to be fair, those 3 minifigures are really the only ones that are even related here, because even though that Golden J is really cool, it has nothing to do with possession at all, so yeah, it's kind of a mixed bag there. Overall though, I think this is a pretty solid set, but you can definitely get more for your money elsewhere. The Overlord Dragon is a set that we have been asking for years, and they finally made it. At $30, it's a little bit smaller than I want it to be, but I still think it looks really solid. The new molded headpiece looks really good, and I'm really glad they went that direction for accuracy, but that's kind of it as far as accuracy goes. The rest of it really doesn't look that much like the show version, but I still like it. The set to me feels like a smaller version of Boreal in terms of the build. It's got the legs all the way in the back, it's got that really long neck, it's got the wings right up in the front, and then, you know, the long tail, of course. They also did make the torso of the Overlord Dragon resemble that of the actual Overlord minifigure, which I thought was a really good idea. They also did add a ton of dark blue into this set, which I think was just not the move at all. They should have just made every blue piece here black, and I think it would have looked a lot better. We also do get an exclusive version of the Overlord minifigure here, which is more like the original design. And at $30, I do think this feels like a really solid set, and a solid version of a set that we've been wanting for years. But I do gotta say, it would have been nice to get at least one more minifigure in here. You know, maybe a corrupted Nia. Out of every set from this wave, the Boulder Blaster is the one which I think deviates the least from its original design, but I still really like it. At $40, it's only $10 more than that original set, but it adds a ton of nice detailing. The cockpit section feels a lot more bulked up and just overall better than the original one. And speaking of that cockpit section, that new windshield piece is really cool. I'm a big fan of that. But of course, it wouldn't be the Boulder Blaster without that function, and this set does keep that in here. It has been slightly redesigned, so now the spring-loaded shooters are going to fire out from the bottom, but it should work just as well. We also do get a nice side build of the cage, and that cage is actually designed to pop open if you shoot it and hit the target, which is really cool and it's really nice to see. And we get 4 minifigures, 2 of them being exclusive, and those are Golden Kai and Izor. Izor I think is a really nice inclusion because he was one of the more important Anaconda, so it's nice to get one of the more important characters actually out of these legacy sets. And once again, for $40, not only is that build really good, but you just get a ton of value with this set. And at number 1, we have the Tournament of Elements set. For those of you that know me, you already know that this is not a set that would typically appeal to me because I'm more of a build person than a minifigure person, but this set does it perfectly. Not only do we get 7 minifigures in this set, but the build actually looks pretty cool. There's space everywhere to put minifigures, you got weapons scattered throughout, which by the way, they recolored those into green, so now they look like Jade Blades, which I think was a really cool idea. And it just looks like a really solid set. It reminds me a lot of the Throne Room set from 2018, but just better. They also did add a ton of little small details throughout. My favorite one has got to be that book in the corner because I think it's supposed to be Klaus's spell book, which I think is pretty awesome. But hey, let's talk about the star of the show, the minifigures. We get Bolobo, Jacob, and Gravis in this set. They're not the most accurate renditions ever, but it's still really great to get them, and now we only need one more elemental master, being Camille. We also do get an exclusive golden Lloyd in this set, which looks really cool, and that brings us to 4 exclusive minifigures. And by the way, $30 for this set. That's a ton of value for a pretty cheap set, and to me that makes this the absolute best set here. But that was my list for the 2021 Ninjago Legacy sets. Thank you guys for watching. Till next time, I'll see you guys later.